afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic. I'm getting the hand signals there. Which way? Thanks for tuning in. Do appreciate that. In this beautiful MusicTown studio here in Hockeytown, near our Lift Lounge in the back. We have big parties there. It's all about local music, all about music, and what we've got here in the Big D. So as I do every week, I try to bring in local artists, and we sit down and talk and hear some good music. And so welcome again this time around. We have John D. Lamb. Hello, John.
Hello, Pam.
And we have Jim Beiser. Hello.
Hi.
You two have been on many of my shows, but I don't think I've had you together.
I don't think
This is a first, yeah.
So.
A lot of times, Jim, you were in with Jan Christ, which you collaborate a lot with the music and stuff. But John, this is a first with
Right. Well,
someone
Jim's a
next
very
to you.
busy guy, but I was lucky to nab him to produce this record that we put out.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this brand new record
Yeah.
you have out, a movie night.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to talk about that in a few
Good.
minutes. So well, welcome, guys.
Yeah, good to be
this will
here,
be good
Pam.
to hear the two of you together. So looking forward to that one. And we were talking before we went on air. It's been a while since I've seen you two, and
A couple of years
know.
when your book came out.
yes, the
Yeah,
book.
we helped in the book tour. Yeah, it was great.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, we did a few of those.
It was fun.
Yeah.
To sell
Yeah.
the books. Yeah. Yeah, I still have a garage full, by the way. So.
I'm
Yeah,
afraid that
that
might happen with the CDs too.
Yeah, I get it now. You know,
Yeah.
people say, "Yeah, I got all these CDs in my garage."
How
you
many
know.
do you order? Yeah.
The more you order, the cheaper it gets,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. You know, it's like,
That's
okay,
right.
well, if I add another 1,000, it can be only so much in a
Right.
CD. And then after a while, you're like, okay, I really didn't. It was better to just pay the few cents more or whatever it is,
Right.
you know. And yeah, there's probably a million artists out there that have boxes and boxes in
Right.
their garages.
Right.
Yeah. So, well, let's hope this new one
No, this one's gonna sell
is
out.
the,
Oh,
there you
yeah,
go.
I'm pretty sure of
Exactly.
it.
A movie night. Well, let's just talk about it while you just.
Sure.
This is just came out.
It's coming out tomorrow officially on iTunes
Oh,
and
it's-
everywhere.
Okay.
It'll be anywhere you want to find it, Spotify or Apple Play or
Yeah, all those-
Yeah, tomorrow. I mean, for the last 2 weeks, there's been one teaser cut that's available.
Okay,
But now
okay.
tomorrow, all 15 songs will be available. tomorrow.
Which is kind of cool too, because now, especially a CD, you know, so many
Right.
people aren't even doing this anymore. And then if they are, they're just putting out the EP. But here, you put out something with 15 songs on
Yeah,
it. That's
although
quite ambitious.
might be a little deceiving. There's only one song that's about 4 minutes long, and all the other songs are about 3 minutes, 3:15, 3:20.
That's
They're all
average.
they're all like, you know, they go by fast.
You didn't even have to say that. It was just like, it's got 15 songs on here.
Yeah, well, I don't want to listen to an album with 15 songs if they're all 5 and 6 minutes long.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
yeah.
But actually, we have a vinyl coming out too. That'll be
Oh.
available in another month or two. And because of the way vinyl is, we had to cut one of the songs off the record because on vinyl you can only fit so many songs per side before you start losing sound quality.
Oh, really? I didn't realize
So
that.
we took out the bonus cut that's on the CD.
Okay. What's the bonus cut?
The last song.
Oh, nothing to say. Which
Nothing to say, yeah.
Actually, I was listening to this. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's kind of cool. It's the last song kind of goes through all the songs
Yeah.
with what they are. You know.
Right. It's a little
Well, that's too bad. That was-
self-deprecating. Yes. Uh-huh.
I didn't realize that on an album or a vinyl that it only takes
Right. Yeah.
You could.
That's why
but
they
you
would
lose
put
it.
out double albums with 2 or 3 songs. Yes or something, or
Uh-huh.
I don't know who put out double albums, but there'd only be like 3 or 4 cuts per side.
Huh.
Because you lose quality if you're making the grooves thinner and thinner.
I did not
for
know
the
that.
needle to be able to pass through and gather the information. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All these years I've
It's
been
funny,
playing albums.
Recently, about a year ago, my son, who's in his 20s, decided to get a turntable, and I had to show him how to use it.
What?
You know, I mean, people in their 20s
Are you
don't
serious?
know, never saw, a phonograph needle till just recently. It's something that's starting to get big again, I guess. But
That's just funny the way when you say that, because how hard is it pick it up
yeah,
and
you just
put
pick it
it
up,
down?
but the concept was totally
my
foreign
goodness.
to younger folks. Yeah.
That's funny. I mean, as a DJ, the years when I started out in the business, all we had were the albums. Put the needle down, back it up a quarter turn, so when you hit the button, it's right on the first note. It's like people don't have a clue.
Yeah.
those are the good old days. I'm
Right.
sorry.
I know.
Then we went to CDs, which is, still put a CD in, but now it's all on the computer. And
That's
it's,
right.
But I love the fact that you're putting out a vinyl because more and more artists are doing that.
Yeah.
Why do you think? Is it just the
I don't-
comeback of it, or
I
what's
don't
the?
know if it's just the look of the equipment just seems so slick. But there is something to say about the sound, I guess.
Yes.
Apparently, vinyl does sound, the fidelity, it just sounds different than CDs.
Yeah.
And maybe people just rediscovering, like when's the last time you saw a young person with actual stereo system that had speakers? Everybody listens to music on earbuds or headphones or. So now maybe I think stereos are coming back into vogue, maybe, and loudspeakers and maybe so.
So you're keeping up with the times now.
I'm trying to, yes.
That's what you're saying.
They're just coming back around. That's all.
Exactly. Yeah. And record stores that sell used vinyl are just probably just loving it.
Doing pretty good, I imagine.
Yes. Yeah. Because so many people just threw them out or donated them or whatever. Even the turntables.
Yeah.
I've heard people say, "Gosh, I wish I wouldn't have given that away or threw that out because they're very expensive now."
I was at the Royal Oak Flea Market yesterday, and I go there quite often. And there's one fella who actually was like one of my sixth grade teachers, and but he always has a booth with collectible albums.
Oh, really?
And it's gotten bigger and bigger. And yesterday I noticed that he was like facing his booth rather than facing the hallway where everybody's walking. It looked like he was like watching his stuff very carefully. Or something.
Really?
Maybe I'm just saying. I was wondering why is he,
You
watching,
mean so the table was pushed back and he was in front of it?
Yeah, in front of
saying.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, like watching his records carefully, as if somebody might come in and try to steal something.
You can't watch it from behind the table?
I don't know, but he wasn't watching the crowd. He was watching his records.
They're like gold now.
Yeah,
Huh?
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's unusual. All right, well, no, I'm glad. And for someone like myself, I'm in a new house yet, and I haven't figured out a room. But my previous home, the whole basement was my music room, and so I'd have signed albums on the walls. You get there's frames that you can get, at the hobby store that fit the albums perfectly, and I love that. All my albums. So when I see these artists coming back, I was like, cool. I got some more stuff to put on my walls, but I just got to figure out where to put them at this point. But I'd like the collectibles.
Wouldn't that be cool to have like an album of ours in gold or platinum?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you can't autograph a digital file.
No.
Exactly.
It's hard to
Thank
do.
you. Hold on. Can you sign this? Yeah, it just doesn't work. All right, guys, how about we hear a song?
Okay, here's a little something called "Bound to Talk."
Okay, are you
Which
playing
is what
everything?
we've been doing.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, it's off the record. I believe it's
Track 3.
track 3. Okay. Could be Marquette, said to Joliet. This expedition, well, it ain't done yet. They don't speak French, but we will talk. We're bound to talk. I say, who's there? You say, knock, knock. This conversation might never stop. I say 2 bits, little off the top. We're bound to talk. We're bound to talk. We're bound to talk. Sure as this lake takes to Milwaukee, we'll get lucky. We won't balk. We're bound to talk. I might be Jim, you might be Huck. Don't change a word, might be bad luck. I saw a bird, you saw a hawk. That's how we talk. It might get mushy, it might get muddy. It's a mighty rush on a Mississippi. We just might sing our hearts on lock. We're bound to talk. We're bound to talk, yeah. We're bound to talk. Sure as this river leads to Missouri, don't you worry. We got Peter Falk, he'll make you talk. He'll make you talk. Well, you cannot walk on the water. You can talk, be a father. You and Juliet, you ain't done yet. You gotta talk, you gotta talk. And all you gotta do is take your kayak all the way to St. Louis. Yak, yak, yak. I saw a bird, you saw a hawk. That's how we talk, that's how we talk.
John D. Lamb along with Jim Beiser here behind the mic. Nice. Yeah, you guys sound good together. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I noticed that I was looking at the liner notes, which is another thing about CDs and vinyl. You've got something to look at.
Somebody
Yes,
actually read our liner notes, Jim. Cool.
Yeah, I always do that because I was it's especially when I was hearing, it's like, okay, I think I recognize that voice or something, So I always like to go back, but yeah, of course, Jim, you produced this.
Yeah, I did.
And the names on here, the people that helped you out, is really impressive.
Got some good-looking friends.
Yes, friends. The friends in the music biz is just amazing.
Yeah.
How you
Go ahead.
guys-
You can say some of the names if you want to.
Sure. Well, first of all, Suzanne Vega.
Oh, well, actually, it's a little bit misleading.
Okay.
She doesn't actually sing on the record. I'm singing about her on
Okay.
the record.
Right.
But I got permission to do that from her.
Directly from
That's right.
That's cool. Well, and most of these are local people. I think all of them are actually Ellen Finkbeiner, which of course is Jan's.
He played
Jan
drums
Christ.
on all the tracks that had
Jan
drums.
Christ,
Yeah, that's right. Wonderful voice.
Kitty Donahoe.
Yeah, I love her voice.
These are all
too.
big names in
Yes,
the
indeed.
area. Bugs Beto.
He's my man. He played trombone on 2 songs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kitty. Well, I said Kitty. Who
Yeah.
else we got here? Len Wallace. Now that I
Len
do-
Wallace is an
don't know.
accordion player from Windsor, Ontario.
Okay, I was gonna say, I don't
and
know
he
Len.
came across the border and just for us to do a couple tracks. He's on 2 songs.
Yeah, I heard the accordion, and
Yeah.
the first I heard, I thought, "Is that Mark?" No, that's not Mark. And so, okay.
Jim's idea was to bring accordion onto the songs.
Well, it adds to it.
Oh,
Yeah,
it sure is
definitely.
nice,
I mean,
yeah.
when you can add different things like that, it just enhances each of the songs. So I think I hit everybody on here. That's
Yeah, is there anybody miss anybody?
Michelle Helda sings.
She's on there, too.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I don't see it. Okay.
Who else is?
Yeah,
That's it, I
very
think, yeah.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, oh my gosh, if I would have looked thanks to, it's all right here. Instead of trying to read the names. Joel Mavis, he's a
Oh no, that's those are all the people that actually inspired the songs on the record.
okay,
So
okay.
a lot of them come from assignments at my retreat. You know, I do the
yeah, I wanted to talk
Songwriters
about
retreat
that.
every
Yeah.
year.
How
in-
many
up
years
in
now have you
Hartford.
been doing this?
This is the 24th
Oh
year
my
this
gosh.
November. hmm And so every November we go up to Harbor Springs. We take
Beautiful
over the
area.
Birchwood Inn, and songwriters come from all over the country and write songs in the course of 3 days that they're there.
Uh-huh.
And I also have people give me an assignment every year.
That's cool. Yeah.
And so
okay,
I've
you
listed,
can't get away with it. Yeah.
So I listed all the people that actually gave
Oh,
me
I
the
see.
assignments for
Okay,
this record.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for people that aren't familiar with, you've been hosting this and you created it basically, this retreat for songwriters.
Right.
Are there people that go there that aren't songwriters as well?
I
Or
mean,
that's
there-
the main thing.
They
You know,
become songwriters.
That's right. Everybody that comes there
okay.
does eventually become a songwriter. I mean, the levels of experience vary. I mean, there's some people that have never written or just written a couple songs, and then there's people like Jim who's written hundreds of songs,
Yeah.
and we're all working together. It's not a competition. It's everybody's pulling for each other to come up with the best song they can do that weekend.
That is so cool. I mean, plus the surroundings. I mean, it's beautiful up north.
Yeah.
So you're at Harbor Springs, and the surroundings are,
Yeah.
and
We got
in,
the
in
town
the
to
fall
ourselves
too.
because it's November and all the folks moved back to Chicago
Yeah.
and Grosse Pointe and whatever, and we got the town to ourselves.
Yes.
So it's nice. Yeah.
Very inspiring, I would think, as a songwriter. You know, just this serene surrounding. Are you right on the water? Is there a lake
We
there?
are right on the water. You
okay.
could just take a little hike down to the beach from the motel.
Yeah.
And
Anything like just go walk, sit by on the beach, or in this wooded
when
area.
the thing that I found, and one of the reasons why I found it to be such an inspiration was for me to to be raised in the Detroit area and then suddenly discover northern Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
I've been hearing about up north from so many of my neighbors,
Yes.
but I never went up there till I was like 18 years old. I never
Okay.
went past Mount Pleasant, And then when I first saw, Lake Michigan, and then later on I'd be touring up there a lot with my band, and I'd find myself on a beach, and I'd look down one side of the beach and down the other side of the beach, and I wouldn't see anybody. I'd be like the only person for yards and yards. And it just makes you feel so grandiose, like you feel like you've just discovered something. You're an explorer,
Yeah.
which makes you get grand ideas and makes you maybe feel a little more like you can write a song, like you can do something big.
Okay.
And so that's why I decided to use that area up there as inspiration.
Was
for people.
that where the inspiration happened to do this retreat?
Yes.
When you were walking that beach?
Yes.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. That area. Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, this could inspire me. It could inspire other people
Right.
as well.
Yeah, I also got a little bit of inspiration from, I'd hear about these things that happened down in Lakeland, Florida, called fantasy tiger vacations,
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
could go down to Lakeland and dress up in a Detroit Tigers uniform and play baseball with Mickey Lolich and Jim Northrup and Al Kaline, and you
Right.
could pay a lot of money to rub,
I would
rub
think
elbows,
so, yes.
to wear the outfit, and take an at bat or something.
For some people, it's worth it.
Yeah. So I decided to create a fantasy camp for songwriters where we could rub elbows with a bunch of other songwriters that we admire. Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Yeah. So, like you said, 20-some years you've been doing this. There's been
Yeah.
a lot of people come through, and you get a lot of repeat
We do.
as
yeah,
well.
Yeah.
And it got so big you had to do it 2 weekends.
Right. Starting the 10th year, we added a weekend. So now we do it 2 weekends in a row. And over the course of the last 10 years or so, we have a number of folks who come for the whole 10 days, the
Oh, wow.
the 2 3-day weekends and the 4 days in between. So it turns into, for many of them, it's sort of like their winter home for, the early winter home.
I can
For a
imagine
while, yeah.
they can write a whole album
Yeah.
during that time.
Yeah.
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 And so as you alluded to earlier, you give them suggestions to kind of spark some ideas, which
Yes.
they did for you as well.
Right.
So how do you come up with these ideas?
I don't know, but I've written over 1,000 songwriting assignments, and I try not to repeat myself. And they're all like about a paragraph long, and some of them are elaborate. And I just kind of hold myself up in the inn about a week before everybody arrives,
Okay.
and I just write all day long. I look at each person's name, and there have been times when I'll Google a person if I don't know them, and kind of see where their head's at, or because nowadays you can do that. You
Right,
can look up
yes.
a person, their Facebook profile or whatever, and you could see where their head's at by the posts they make or something. So I used to do that kind of thing, but now I'm always looking for different ways to write a song assignment for each person. Sometimes it's tailored for them individually. Sometimes it's just to fulfill the greater theme that I'm working on that particular year.
Do you ever so there is a theme for the whole weekend?
Yeah, I
kind
usually
of.
come up
Yeah.
with a theme.
Okay.
I mean, it varies every year. It helps me to sort of focus. The first
yeah.
time I had a theme was, I don't know, about 18 years ago, was we called it the Forest Hills Subdivision Rock Opera. And I gave everybody at the retreat basically the character of somebody in my neighborhood where I was living.
Oh, interesting.
The old lady that walks the dog with the golf club in her hand to beat off, other dogs. The mailman, the couple that walks holding hands around the park. I gave everybody a certain scenario of all my different neighbors, and we came up with this.
Sounds like a wild
grand
neighborhood.
rock opera about my neighborhood. It
That's
was wonderful.
funny.
Yeah.
I bet you came up. Was it surprising when they came up with these songs that you're
It's great.
because you know the person, they don't, and you hear this song and you know the
love it.
person did.
Yeah. I mean, I've also done a lot of I've given other people a lot of stuff about my own life. It's been a great therapy for me. Every November I can sort of unload all the stuff that's running around my brain and let everybody else write about it. And then it kind of like clears me out.
Yeah.
After on Sunday I'll cry a couple times. I'll laugh a lot. And then I'm sort of done like scream therapy. I've kind of like worked it all out. Everything's worked out, and I can go on for another year until it's time for that new therapy session again with all
That's
the
funny.
songwriting
Yeah, who needs a
friends.
psychologist?
That's right.
You got the songwriters
That's
retreat.
Right. They help me a lot.
That's funny. And of course, a lot of people come up with songs. I mean, what happens if they don't come up with something? Is there a way to help them?
Shoot 'em.
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned,
it's
it's
really
no
rare.
pressure, I'm
It's
sure.
really rare. It's only happened a couple times, and it only happened like years ago. But now, everybody comes there knowing they're going to do something.
Uh-huh.
And years ago there was a few people that came and they were like scared and they didn't do a song.
Yeah.
But now it just seems like that doesn't happen that much anymore. Everybody comes up with something. And really, the funny thing for me is, I'll get some illustrious special guest staff members that come to my retreat for the first time, and these are famous songwriters.
Okay.
And they might like sort of take this whole, they're like, oh, we get an assignment too? Oh, we have to write a song too? Yes, you do too. Everybody does. And so they kind of
See ya.
they kind of like take like a lark almost sometimes. And then on Sunday they see that this person that they thought was like a real amateur maybe, or was like sort of inexperienced or less experienced than them, comes up with a fantastic song that, whereas they might have maybe not given it quite as much of an effort,
They
so
see,
I've seen that happen sometimes, where it's like they get blown away by our people that really don't gig during the year. They're one time per year to actually get up in front of an audience and play a couple songs is at my retreat.
Yeah, because they have to play what
Right.
they just wrote.
Yes, everybody has to perform it on
Yes.
Sunday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. I mean, does anyone just come? Of course, maybe. Actually, I think I know the answer to this, but I'll go ahead and say it
Yeah.
anyway. Because someone may go to write the lyrics, but don't know how to write the
Right.
music. So you do a poetry
we
one
have
as well.
a
Yeah.
bunch of great guitar players
Okay.
up there that are always willing to volunteer and
Okay.
accompany somebody and help them come up with the music part of for their lyrics. If somebody comes up and just wants to write lyrics, and they'll find somebody to accompany them.
The reason I say that comes to mind is I have a friend of mine, and when we were both going through the divorce, not to get personal or anything, but she was writing some songs,
Yeah.
and we were at this party, and we just connected, started talking about these songs that she was writing. I said, "Oh my gosh, I've been writing stuff down in my journal that can be songs." So we said we wanted to collaborate on this CD, all about divorce and breaking up songs.
Right.
But neither one of us can write music. I mean, I can play a few chords and everything, but as far as writing music for a song, and I said, I know some people.
Now you know what to do. Yeah.
So yeah, it was funny. It's like we still have to get this done, but it's like we didn't go any further because, they got to get that next step of
Take
being
that
able to
next
write
step.
the music.
Come on
But
up.
there's
Just
the
give me a
there's-
call. Yep.
I said, you know what? I know a lot of people in the music business. We can write the lyrics, and I'll contact different people for each of the songs, and they can,
Yep, you can
anyway,
do that.
I'm sorry. When we need, we need to go to another song.
Divorce is a good subject for songs. I mean, there's been a lot of folks that have gotten a lot of the best material out of it. I think the biggest example, I think the one of Phil Collins' record was completely about his divorce, and it was like sold millions and millions.
Yeah,
of it.
I know. Just what we've written in our journals, which is half the battle.
Yeah.
It's like these could be good songs. You don't want to go through all that and have to write it experience, but I think we got something. But anyway, on to you guys. Let's hear
Okay.
another song.
All right. Today is Monday. We're going to do a song called "Normal" by Monday.
Okay.
How could your parents do that to you? Did they have to make such a scene? You would have been normal by Monday morning. No trace of mescaline. Your mom and dad, they're out of their mind. All we did was yellow sunshine, like half a tab of purple microdot. One trip and look what you got. By the way, where's your Martin? The one you played when you were starting to learn that Dolly Parton song. Has it been that long since you did nothing wrong? How could your parents do that to you? Do they think you are the acid queen? You would have been normal by Monday morning. You would have been fresh, you would have been clean. Your mom and dad, they're out of their mind. Look at me, I feel fine. I was blotto, now I'm not. But one trip and look what you got. By the way, where's your Martin? The one you played when you were starting to learn that Dolly Parton song. Has it been that long since you did nothing wrong? Would have been normal by Monday morning. Do they think you are a child of the corn? Why now they letting you out of here? I think your boyfriend, he disappeared. And by the way, where's your Martin? The one you played when you were starting to learn that Dolly Parton song. Has it been that long? Been that long, been that long, been that long, been that long.
Another tune from the brand new album, CD, A Movie Night with John D. Lamb. Tell me about the guitar that you played. That was Sal's?
Yes. This was kind of a meaningful thing.
Yeah.
I think that John's brother passed away a number of years ago, and it was a pretty traumatic thing.
I would imagine.
And he left behind the electric guitar that he had played, that the brothers had played together for years and years.
Mm-hmm.
So I played. John doesn't play much electric guitar. He mostly plays acoustic guitar. I play both. So for all of the electric guitar parts on the new album, we played Sal's guitar. So
That's very cool.
I'm playing Sal's old guitar as kind of a little tribute.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty sweet thing to do.
It
That
was
had to
sweet.
be-
He played it very well.
That had to be really touching and
It was nice. It
meaningful.
was nice to create that at the beginning of the project. I asked Jim. I said, "Let's use this guitar for all the electric guitar parts." It was just nice to get that settled right
Yeah.
away, right up front. Because I knew it was a good guitar, and I knew Jim could wield it.
Yeah, do it justice.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Very cool. Yeah, I read that and saw that. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was sort of a way to get Sal on the record.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed, yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that is cool.
Yeah.
Good for you. And plus, the label here, is that your grandfather's name? Or something?
Yeah.
Say
It's
it. I
my
don't wanna-
grandfather. The name of my publishing and my record label is Mezzanotte, which in
Mezzanotte.
Italian means midnight.
Okay.
And my grandfather's name was Giovanni Danilo, but his nickname was Mezzanotte, which kind of translates into Johnny Midnight. He was a man who had 11 children, and he was kind of a carouser. He could be found out in the bars late at night and playing cards and drinking a lot of wine, so he's kind of famous in my dad's little hometown in Italy. And one of my uncles actually has a men's clothing store called Midnight. Actually, his clothing store is in English. It's called Midnight.
Yeah.
And here I am in America using the Italian version of Midnight, Mezzanotte. So it's kind of a
Very
fair
cool.
play thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Mhm.
cool. Very cool. All right, time for the Pam exam.
All right.
Just random questions that I like to ask my guests.
Literally random. You're pulling them out of a jar.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes, very random. So feel free to both of you to answer.
Yes.
All
Did
right.
you pick up some milk on the way home?
Yes. All right. Your favorite Detroit area museum?
Museum. Well, I mean, hands down for me is the Detroit Institute of Arts, of course. Yeah, with the Diego mural
Yeah.
and all the stuff that's in there. Yeah.
I was just there a couple days ago.
Yeah?
As a
Oh,
matter
okay.
of fact, caught the Star Wars exhibit, which is
yeah.
closing soon. If you want to see that, you better get there quick.
No
Was it good?
kidding.
Good.
Oh yeah,
good
it
exhibit?
was very cool.
Uh-huh.
But I also feel like we can't, talk about our favorite museums without giving Motown Museum a shout out.
Mhm.
It's a pretty special
Hitsville.
place.
Yeah.
And now they're doing that
Oh,
huge expansion on it.
Yes.
They're keeping, of course, the old original house.
Oh, they have to.
They
Yeah,
could never
yeah.
replace that.
I mean,
but-
the studio's about this big, wasn't it?
Yeah,
This
about
room?
Yeah.
this big as this room.
Yeah.
It was pretty astounding,
Yeah.
and it was years before I actually went down there to visit. But
Uh-huh.
once I finally did, I grew up on all that stuff.
We
and
all
to
did,
be
yes.
in the
Right.
room
Yes.
Right.
was pretty special. It was pretty special.
Yeah, I think if they got rid of the original, they'd be haunted
Oh
forever.
no!
Yeah.
They
Yeah, no, they
could-
know
could
better than
never do
that. Yes, yeah, for sure. What is your guilty pleasure?
I like to watch SWAT on Thursday nights.
Really?
That's my guilty pleasure.
Wow.
Was never into those kind of TV shows, but I discovered the show that just, I don't know, for some reason it comforts me to watch all these guys with their vests and
Yeah.
their handle the problems of that particular
Yes.
episode. Yeah. Mhm.
Interesting.
Yes.
SWAT.
Very satisfying.
All
My
right.
guilty pleasure was working on this record. We took I don't know, took some liberties along the way,
Yeah.
and it was a lot
It
of
was a
fun.
blast, yeah.
That last song we just did has a very 70s ballad sort of vibe on the record. It
Uh-huh.
sounds like a song that Bread could have recorded,
But
and
then there's a middle break, which you kind of heard here,
which,
but on
which
the
gets
actual,
pretty
yeah.
strange. It gets a little
little
out there.
Beatlesque with the backwards guitar. Jim actually, on the record version of the last song that we played, he actually wrote a guitar part and then had to transcribe it backwards and figure out how to play it backwards so that when he reversed the tape in the studio, it sounded like a melody that he wanted to sound like. That was very
What?
wild, a very
Well,
big project.
because the song's about a drug trip.
Yeah, okay.
And so I wanted to add something sort of psychedelic sounding, so I copped a few sounds that are somewhat familiar of, like 67 era Beatles,
Yeah.
and tracked a backwards guitar part, which I'd never done. It was sort of a bucket list thing
Yeah.
that I'd never arranged
Yeah.
and played a backwards guitar part. So it was fun. to
That
do.
sound. I'm
Yeah.
trying to imagine. That's not something people normally can do.
Well,
or
not
do,
normally,
yeah.
but there's
Very
plenty
cool.
of records that feature backwards guitar. For some reason, the Crosby, Stills, Nash song is jumping out at me. Pre-Road Downs off their first record. That has Stephen Stills playing a backwards guitar, and there's a bunch of.
Was there some stuff like in Revolution Number 9 or something like that, or that was different? There was vocals backwards or something. That
Yeah,
was-
a lot of
vocals, yeah.
backwards vocals. A lot of
Yeah,
backwards
yeah.
vocals. Yeah.
No.
That was pretty wild.
Anyways, that's a
That we didn't do, but next album.
yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. All right. Okay. Mexican town, Greek town, or Cork town?
All of the above. I remember seeing online, it was some sort of pop music forum, and they said, okay, the question is Lennon or McCartney? And I thought, that's a stupid question. I mean, they're Lennon and McCartney.
Yes.
Yeah.
And either one alone was
Right.
special in
Right.
their own way.
Yes.
Man,
Yeah.
don't
Don't split
Yeah.
those two. Yeah.
don't cause we got enough division in this country.
I think that actually Detroit needs another choice. We need a Little Italy in Detroit.
I
Is that what we
agree.
need, you know?
Yes.
There used to be
Yes.
one in Windsor, but it's kind of changed a bit. The Erie Street is not quite as Italian as it used to be.
Oh gosh, yeah. I went down
That's
there.
where
It's
my parents met and married, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
That was
in
it's been
Windsor.
years since I've been there, but
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was cool. All those the restaurants.
And one of the
and-
famous restaurants just recently closed. That was in Erie Street, But yeah, I like a Mexican town and Greek town and all. But
I like that a
I
little
wanna go
Italy of
someplace
some
where
sort.
I can feel like I can speak of this language.
You want to meet both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never thought of that, but that would be cool. Yeah. All right. I'm trying to think. Where would that be put? Where would that go?
Probably
you
in
know?
this, like Utica or something.
Yeah.
There's a bit of one in Windsor, isn't there?
Well, yeah,
Well, that's what
I'm
we were
telling
saying,
you.
yeah,
Yeah,
but-
Erie Street in Windsor. But,
Yeah.
but where would you put it in Detroit? I think a lot of Italians lived in the east side. Then
Yes.
they moved to Sterling Heights. Then they moved to Utica or Shelby Township. But that's actually where a lot of Italians are now.
Yeah.
Shelby Township. We'd have
Okay.
to drive out there.
Do they have a lot of
We have
like
to create a strip over there.
something? Yeah.
Yeah.
Get on that, John. Okay.
Right.
Do you have a ritual before a performance?
I like to smoke a cigarette. Outside, of course, excuse me while I step out for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of pre-show rituals. Afterward, I like to go out and get some White Castles. But
That's right.
yeah.
One time, Jim and I went to the Kerrville Folk Festival in Texas in my big old van, my 350 extra long Ford van.
With how many miles on it?
Oh, I sold it with
350?
380 miles on it,
Oh,
1,000
wow.
miles on it. But we drove 27 hours from Texas to get back
Straight.
to Detroit
Straight.
without sleeping. And
Well, we took turns sleeping,
yeah,
sort of.
yeah, kind of. But
There were three of us.
as we got into town, Jim had to go to White Castle. After 27 hours of being up, we ate at White Castle before we actually went to our respective homes.
Yeah, we were in Ohio.
And crashed.
We hadn't quite hit Michigan yet, and we had breakfast. It was like 7 in the morning, and we stopped at the.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they're 24/7, so you can
So
get a good
sliders
breakfast
for
for you.
breakfast,
Yes.
White
Yes,
Castle.
totally.
That's funny. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, here's another Detroit one: Fago, Verner's, or Town Club.
Ah. Well, I like Verner's. Mix it with Seagram's or Canadian Club is good.
Yeah, actually, Verner's and Canadian Club.
Yeah.
Beats a 7-7.
Yeah.
Like hands
Right.
down.
Right. But I also like Canada Dry with Canadian Club, man, because I.
Oh well, if
Used
you
to
want to
visit,
keep
yeah.
it, yeah, you don't want to keep it cross cultural.
Is there a song, a person, or an event that inspired you to go into the music business?
Well, yes. I mean, for me, the first concert I ever saw by a great songwriter was my godfather took me to front row center at the Masonic Temple to see Paul Anka.
Oh.
Right when he had that big hit, "You're Having My Baby."
Yeah.
But he also had many other hits, like he wrote the words to "My Way," and he wrote "Put Your Head on My Shoulder," and "Diana," and "You Are My Destiny." And I was only, I think, 11th grade or something at the time. But that concert really blew me away at that age, because he wrote all the songs, and he had a big orchestra, and he was like Sinatra,
Yes.
And so that kind of put a bug in my, because he was one of the few pop stars who actually wrote songs and recorded them as well, even though other people recorded his songs too. And then, of course, later on in college, I discovered Bruce Springsteen and Billy Joel, and those two guys sort of gave me permission to think that it's possible, because up until then, all the rock bands had these high-voiced singers like Journey and REO Speedwagon and Head East, and you had to be kind of a castrati to be able to hit the notes, you know.
Right.
And when I heard those guys, Billy Joel and Bruce Springsteen, singing sort of in their middle range, vocals that I could achieve, I thought, oh, well, you don't have to be able, you don't have to like wear tight pants and have long hair and
You
sing
didn't want to
really,
go
really
there,
high,
so-
You could actually just be a regular guy and sing in
Yeah.
middle range, and that kind of inspired me.
Very good.
Yeah.
And Jim, anybody? Anything?
Well, I'm gonna date myself here for sure, but
Oh, well.
but I was just a kid, just barely starting to play guitar, and the Beatles were still together, and they were a huge influence on me. And then when the singer-songwriter sort of revolution happened, particularly for me, was James Taylor. When Fire and Rain came out, I put away my electric guitar for a year or two and just learned to play his acoustic guitar licks, and I was so taken by him. And he was a huge, to use a common term, influence on me.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
yeah. You can play that stuff.
Yeah, he's influenced a lot of people. Yeah, he's still going strong too.
He
It's-
is.
And he's still out there making
Yes.
records. I saw him last
Making
summer.
money.
And he put on a terrific. It was Bonnie Raitt opened for him,
Oh,
and then
love
he
Bonnie.
played. It was DTE Energy Theater. You know what it's called. And it was a wonderful show. I was half expecting both of them to be sort of resting on their laurels, but
no.
they
Oh, no.
totally put it out.
Bonnie she still gives it her all, and just fun to watch her. And
Yeah, and they played some songs together.
Oh,
And that
cool.
was a hoot. it was a really good show.
She's I remember that show. I can't remember if I was there or not, but I do remember that they were together. And when I saw the bill, and it's like, okay, Bonnie's opening up for James. This seemed odd, but it was. I do remember that when they were coming to town. If you were a spice, what would it be?
I don't know. I think basil, maybe, just because I grow basil in my backyard, and
Well, you're
you know.
Italian. Come on.
yeah, that's probably it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes good with tomatoes and mozzarella cheese.
Capri salad there.
Wow, this is a question I've never thought of.
That's what I like about things.
I'm gonna go exotic here and say saffron.
Oh.
Wow, just because it tastes so good. I don't know if I taste good, but the saffron tastes. In fact, I was at a Dream Cruise event a month ago, and the Westbourne Market. There was a Forgotten Harvest event that they sponsored on Friday night, and they had a big, huge bash with all these restaurants providing food, and they had a band and all that stuff.
Nice.
It was great. But the Westbourne Market made a paella.
Oh yes.
In a dish that was 5 feet, 6 feet across.
Wow.
It was huge. And I've been to Spain, I've been to Italy, and I've eaten those things, and this rivaled the best ones. It
Really?
was so
And
good.
the saffron is
And
key
the saffron
to
is
making
key
the
to a
paella
good paella.
good. Yeah.
And it was, wow, was
Right.
it good.
So
Yeah.
that. All right, just a couple more questions here. Okay, imagine Detroit's own Walk of Fame along the riverfront. Who gets the next 3 stars?
I don't even know who's on there already.
No, there's no such thing.
Well, okay. Well.
Okay.
Yet.
Well, John Lamb definitely gets one.
Jim Beiser and then Bob Seger, the other one.
Yeah, then Bob. Bob is third.
And then Iggy. If you had another one, put Iggy on
Iggy,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And,
we don't have one, but I know there was talk. It's like they should have one along the walkway. I mean,
right.
there'd be so many.
And I'm
close-
sorry to mention just only white males, but
Oh, yeah. I mean,
we probably should diversify a little
well,
bit.
we should.
in there, yeah.
How can we possibly
Right.
not mention
Marvin
Aretha
Gaye
at this
and
moment?
Smokey Robinson.
You know,
yeah, that's right. So many.
See, that's why I said 3. You could go on and on and on and
Oh,
on.
wow.
And on.
Yeah, we'd be here all afternoon.
No, I don't want to get in trouble.
All right. Any crazy fan experiences?
A few I probably couldn't mention.
Why not?
Yeah.
I have one funny
Questionable
story.
behavior.
Actually, years ago, remember Bob Telbert, the columnist?
Yes. Oh, yes.
He did a column on me when I put out a record called A Novel Day, and
It's kind of the bookend.
Yes,
This
yes.
release of a movie night.
And Bob used to have a column in the Free Press, and he would sort of like a gossip column and also tidbits about town.
Yes.
But he wrote about me. I used to pack his groceries. He remembered being a packer, at the Chatham supermarket, and he also
I worked at Kroger for a while.
Oh, that's funny.
And he also divulged my real name, actually, which I probably told him, which is in Italian. My name is Danilo, which means of lamb. Okay, so, anyways, once he divulged what my real name was, I got a call from somebody. I live in Royal Oak, and I got a call from a woman who got me on the phone and says, "Is this John?" I said, "Yes." She goes, "You should change your name back to your real name." I said, "What's the matter? Why?" She says, "My husband's name is John Lamb, and we've been getting phone calls at 2:30 in the morning from women looking for you." And she was like angry with me. And she wanted me to change my name back to my real name.
That's funny.
So that's why I don't.
He doesn't want those calls.
That's funny. They needed to change their number, but
Right.
that's funny. Poor lady. Jim, do you have something? You were going to say something.
Oh,
You changed it.
yeah, they were
He's
just
happily married. He's not going to tell any stories.
well, not of that nature anyway. I do remember it was so funny. My brother and I were a long-time duo, the Beiser brothers.
Yes.
And we played in lots of places all around southeastern Michigan, and the culture clash. You would go because we would play weeknights at the Goat Farm in Novi, which is a real almost a dirt floor rednecky kind of bar, and then
Okay.
we'd play weekends at the Rattlesnake Club.
What a difference.
Yeah, it was just like it was kind of crazy the breadth of the rooms that we were playing in at the time. It was a lot of fun.
That's
Interesting.
that's spicy.
We need another song, guys.
Oh, alrighty. Could you hand me that pick over there? I think I left it on the table.
You did.
This one I use a pick.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Pam. Yep.
One pick. Here you go.
Oh, thank you so much.
need a-
All right.
I'm good. I got mine.
Good, because I don't have any more over here.
This one alludes to the pre-song ritual you asked about earlier.
Okay.
You guys ready back there? All right. This is how you hold it. A cigarette. Learned it from an actor at the drive-in for free. He was a spy. He was the guy I wanted to be. Up on the movie screen, the way they smoke after a sex scene, or with a Jack and a Coke. This is how you hold it. This is how you light it. And this is how you swear. It was an R-rated night at the Redford that night. I should not have been there. No one saw me throw it, the cigarette. There was an actress. She was in this flick. She was a spy. I was a guy without a chick. Up on the movie screen, the way she smoked. I wanna kiss a girl, yeah. Man, I was stoked. No one saw me do it. The wind blew it. Smokey was a bear. It was an R-rated night at the Redford that night. I should not have been there. When the scene unfolded, I was a silhouette. The director said it's time to cut. Might be a lie. Was I the guy who flicked that butt? This is how you hold it. This is how you light it. And this is how you swear. It was an R-rated night at the Redford that night. I should not have been there. It was an R-rated night at the Redford that night. I should not have been there.
John D. Lamb, Jim Beiser, live with us this afternoon. And another, that was from this new CD as well,
Yes,
right?
indeed.
Awesome.
We are
Brand new,
promoting the new CD.
which, as you should. That's the whole point,
Yes,
right?
indeed.
It's called A Movie Night, John D. Lamb, with lots of help on it, including Jim Beiser. Any final words you want to say or
Just a
share with our
reminder that
watchers?
the record comes out available everywhere tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And this Saturday at the Mama's Coffee House, which takes place at the Birmingham Unitarian Church this Saturday, September 22, 8 p.m. We've got, we already talked about John Sinclair and Tino Gross are opening up for us
Cool.
with a small set. And then Jim and I are going to come on and do a couple sets for everybody. CDs will be available, all of my CDs. And shoot, Jim, you should bring some of yours too. Yeah, why not? Yeah.
There you go. Jim, do you still run the Mamas?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm still
Gosh.
coordinator of that concert
I got
series.
connections.
Yes, apparently.
Yeah, and this is our kickoff show of the new season because we run September through May.
Okay, right.
So this is the first show of the new Mama, the 26th Mama season. We had our 25th anniversary last spring.
Oh my, that long already?
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
been. Now
gosh.
I haven't run it all those years, but
Yeah, but still, I didn't realize it was going on that long.
yeah, it was 93 was the first Mama's concert. It was quite a while ago.
I do have a couple of things I'd like to add. One is that Jim is in a fantastic new band now called Diamonds in the Rust, which includes him and Jan Christ. They play as a duo often, but they teamed up with Annie and Rod Capps and Ellen Finkbeiner on the drums. And I saw them last weekend at the Wheatland Music Festival, and it's a wonderful band. And I know they played just a couple nights ago at the Trinity House Theater, and they had a great show. So that's something to look up for as well. Anything that Jim touches is
this Friday night,
Yeah.
Diamonds in the Rust is playing in Ann Arbor at the Greenwood Coffee House.
Right.
Oh, good place for the in reference to Joan Baez's song.
That's right.
No, it isn't. We were looking for a name that had like the rust or rust belt in it.
Oh, okay.
We wanted to have a strong connection with Detroit and this Midwest area that we're all from. So we were trying to go with, in fact, I wanted to call it the Rust Belters, but we settled on Diamonds in the Rust. And now the Joan Baez song, of course, is Diamonds and Rust.
Right, that's right.
Okay.
So this is Diamonds in the Rust.
Gotcha.
And Diamonds in the Rust has really cool T-shirts too.
Yes, we had one of it. We don't have any recordings
The
yet.
swag, you got to have the swag.
Yeah.
you know?
No, we don't have a recording yet. We're working on that, but we got the T-shirts.
Well, priorities. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Also, I'd
You
like
raised
to
your
mention,
hand like
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. But I wasn't sure if time was running out, but I want to make sure. I keep forgetting to get this in there, but I do have a regular gig every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday when I'm not doing CD release parties or directing retreats, and I play at Finnegan's Pub in Rochester Hills.
Okay.
Every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 6:30 to 9:30.
Perfect.
And it's just look it up. It's a really cool place. And I play all kinds of songs. And I wear a different outfit every night.
Oh, good. That's nice that you have a regular gig,
Yeah, it
which
sure
is
is.
important for musicians. You can get something like that.
Yeah.
So, perfect. Well, that would be good. Just you and a guitar while
Just
people
me
are
and a guitar.
enjoying their
People
meals.
are eating and
Yes,
drinking,
yeah.
and I play covers and originals.
Yeah.
And
I think
it's
more
fun.
restaurants
It's a lot of fun.
need to do that.
I think so too. I
Yeah.
miss it, but this place is wonderful to me.
I mean, as long as it's not, and you have to
There's
realize.
only one television in the place, and they turn the sound off, and it's not behind me on the stage.
Perfect.
You know,
that's good.
and that's wonderful. And,
Or an espresso machine going off every
well,
5 minutes.
There is
you
an
know?
espresso machine, but it's very rare that somebody
Yeah.
orders one there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, a couple times it's happened, and I try to make jokes about it. You know.
Yes,
Try to
but
smile.
I love that, I mean, if you're going there to just chat, as long as the music is overpowering,
Right.
your meal, and you
Right.
can't enjoy your meal
No.
because you got this music blasting.
Yeah.
I think
I
more
really
rest-
enjoy playing for
Yeah.
dinner crowds. I mean,
Yeah.
I like crooning, and then as they get a couple drinks in them, I can kind of pick it up a little bit and throw. People start yelling out requests, and it's
Nice.
wonderful. If
Good for you.
I can do it, if I know what they ask for.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, all right, got them. Then you get
Hooked.
Tips, you get tips sometimes.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
that's
cool.
important too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good for you. And real quick, give out your email, or excuse me, not your email, your website addresses.
JohnDLam.com.
Okay.
Check out mamascoffeehouse.org, and there's a hyphen in there, MAMAS hyphen coffeehouse.org, and that'll take you to the venue page.
Okay.
And, you can read all about John's show coming up.
Perfect.
On Saturday.
Perfect. All right.
All right.
JohnDLam.com.
Pam, it's so great to see you.
You too. Thanks,
Yeah.
guys. Appreciate you coming in and playing
You have a
for
wonderful
us.
new studio here. I love it.
Yeah,
And your crew is wonderful too.
Yeah. Well, we have
All
great
the guys
engineers back there.
You guys are great.
Annie and everybody
Annie
back.
and-
Yes. So great. Thank you, and good luck with everything. You've got a brand new CD out, a movie night. John D. Lamb with lots of help. Jim Beiser, one of them, on this, and it comes out officially tomorrow. So,
Correct.
So we got it before it's officially out there. So, thank you so much, both of you guys,
Thank you.
coming and
Thanks, Jim.
entertaining our listeners and our viewers. So, and to all of you out there, thank you so much for tuning in, and we do appreciate that. I'm Pam Rossi. Have a great week.